Well, welcome to the show, Breton. Pleasure to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here, man.
Yeah,
So
of
we have
course.
Breton Bess in the house. Okay. Breton, how old are you?
I'm 30.
Okay. So Breton is 30 years old, guys. He's been in sales for how long?
10 years.
A decade. So we're pretty
Good
similar
old
there,
10
dude.
0. Yeah.
So he's in the pest industry. He owns a branch in Insight Pest Solutions, right?
hmm
And Breton, your best year income wise has been over a million.
Yep.
Okay. And then personal sales about 350, you said?
Yeah. Just from personal sales.
Love
Yep.
that. Okay. You have about 40 guys so far you manage?
Yep.
Love that. It's awesome, man. Well, it's a pleasure to have you.
Thanks for having me.
I'm excited to deep dive on this. So with this, we love to get in the weeds with like, okay, what's helped make you successful in sales from personal sales and then getting into leadership?
Cool.
What's like the first couple of things that come to mind? Like, hey, if you could go back and mentor the younger Breton and to help you get where you've gone, where you're at now and where you want to be, what would you tell yourself?
Yeah, I set like a lot of limiting beliefs on myself. Just, I think 10 years ago was a little bit different. It was the social media presence wasn't as much there. And so it was just, I think like it's a lot easier to find mentors.
Yeah.
And just seeing like guys that are doing crazy, insane amounts of revenue, whether personal or whether it be through, through their downline. And so just I set a lot of limiting beliefs on myself. Hey, I can only sell 4 accounts a day in pest, or I remember when I finally broke that barrier, I was like, hey, I could sell 6 accounts every single day or whatever. And just as time has gone by, just learning, hey, let's get rid of those. Like how many can I really sell?
Yeah.
So just I'd say that's a big thing, is just stop limiting your beliefs on what you can sell.
So if you could go back and like tell yourself, okay, what's that mean? Like, how do you break that down even more?
Yeah, I mean, I think just like instead of choosing a number, it's just like I'm just gonna go give 100%. I'm not gonna stop. I think subconsciously, like once you hit that goal or like that cap, if you will, it's like it's very easy to like kind of let off the gas, or even just like whatever limit I've ever put on myself, that's kind of like been the cap that I've put on. So
yeah,
over the past couple of years, just I can go do whatever I want. Like I just have to believe I can.
I love that.
So
I'm very big into focusing on the input versus output. Input being like what you can control, your work ethic, how many people you talk to.
100%. Yeah.
Because this is an exact symptom of output focus. Like once you hit your 4 sales in the day, you're like, oh, we're good.
Yeah. Yeah. And it wasn't even so much like, hey, I'd stop knocking.
Yeah.
But it was just like, okay, like it's like 7:00. I'm like, hey, like I'm at 3. I need one more sale.
Interesting.
Right. And so I think I'd like push a little bit less hard on that.
Yeah.
And like it's happened every cap that I ever set. And finally I was just like, hey, like I'm done putting limits on it. Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, I'm just going to go as hard as I can on every single door. The customer's still willing to chat. We're still pushing. Like, and you eventually start learning like what to push and what not to push.
Yeah.
But I think that's the skill based. And then obviously the limits is like more the mentality, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I love that.
I think that's a important thing.
And I forgot to mention, like, highlight for you, you've won Golden Door.
Yeah.
With pest control.
Yep.
And then you and I met. I always forget the time of the pest panel. Like,
dude, you always do. It's so funny.
I'm like, dude, you look familiar.
Yeah. No, that was fun. Yeah. Shout out to Sam
awesome.
for letting us have that there.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Let's break down that year you did Golden Door. Mm-hmm. Like, what led up to that?
Yeah. So I got it 3 years ago. Okay. So that was, you had to hit 550,000 revenue. The summer prior, I had told myself that I was going to go hit 600 accounts. And it was like the beginning of September. I was at 250K revenue. And I just, like, I got a call from the CEO. He's like, hey, like, we need a new VP of sales. Like, I want you to come back. And at that time, I was just like so burnt out. I didn't really have, like you said, like the outcome based mentality. It was just like having to hit 600 accounts. And I was just like, so done with knocking. I was just like, hey, like, how soon do you need me back? Fingers crossed. Hopefully it's soon, Yeah. And he was like, well, ideally, like, you're in these meetings starting Monday. And so I was like, great. Well, I guess I'm going home. Like, I'm done knocking, And there wasn't like a real serious, like, hey, like, I need the 600 accounts because of X, Y, Z reason.
Okay.
I didn't have like a why, if you will. It was just like, hey, like 600 would be a really good goal.
Yeah.
But then the next summer, it was just like, not like I'm hitting a Golden Door award. It was like, I don't know, like I was just like the VP of sales. I had to go do something crazy. Like, and I think also just like for myself, like I saw guys that were getting Golden Door awards. So I was just like, hey, like, I don't think they're better salesmen than I. And I think like I didn't quite understand at the time, but just getting a Golden Door award is like probably like 90% mentality. Selling a couple more accounts every single day. Like I think there's some skill involved, but a lot of it more is like you'll figure out how to do it along the way.
Yeah.
Just like naturally. And so the next summer I hit like 580 revenue.
Look at that.
So
smashed it.
Yeah, smashed it and did it in 4.5 months, which was cool.
How has getting that Golden Door affected your career? That level of success.
Yeah.
And for the audience that doesn't know, Golden Door is 550,000 in revenue at that time for pest control.
Yeah.
And it's the 0.01% of every space: pest control, alarms, dish, solar. So
yeah. I mean, I think like the level of confidence I have on the doors is kind of a little bit different. Now, like I've gone and sold 100K revenue in 8 days now, and it's like, like before, like if you had ever told me that was going to be possible, it's like, there's no way, right? Like 100K revenue is a lot, especially in 8 days. That's not a lot of days,
So you've raised the bar in your own head.
Yeah,
it's possible for you.
Yeah, and I think that's a big process of like you kind of learn that throughout going through that Golden Door. I mean, you've done a couple of them at this point, right? Pest and solar.
Just one. In solar, yeah.
Okay, cool. But like, so it's like you set that goal, and it should be scary. You're like, how am I going to do this? And kind of as you go through the process, you kind of learn new things about yourself. And I mean, it really is like, I mean, there's a reason it's the top 1% of guys is doing it. It's like you just like you have to be so dialed in, right? And so. Going back to the original question, like I think like just being more dialed in and just like knowing, hey, like just kind of like the ins and outs of doing that. And I think like also from a recruiting standpoint, right? Like, would you rather learn from somebody that goes and sells, 100 accounts in a summer, a guy that goes and sells, 800, 900 accounts and, 8x the revenue or whatever, and like I think it's important to learn from like the right leaders, the right mentors. And so I think that's the Harvard MBA, if you will, but
for our industry. Having achieved something like noteworthy in saying, hey, look, I've been there, I can mentor you to get here.
For sure.
I think it's great. I think it's such a good motivation. I think there's a lot of guys that get into our industry and see the benefits of recruiting and want that fast. Kind of want to skip the system, but really 100%. It's actually easier if you just go to achieve that award,
and I think it's like, do you want to go with your best friend or do you want to go with, I always tell sales reps, it's like, would you rather go learn how to play basketball from somebody like myself who I'm awful at basketball, like I can't play basketball to save my life, or would you rather learn from one of the greats? You know what I mean? It's like, I'd love to play basketball with my best friends, but I'd rather learn from the Kobe's, the LeBrons, the whoever, So
love that, man.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about your schedule. Like when you hit that record year, what did your schedule look like?
Yeah, I mean, I think for everybody that hits a Golden Door award, I think it's a little bit different. I'm a firm believer in like knowing who you are, and I think you have to do that if you're gonna hit a Golden Door award. So I'm very much a night owl. And so I'm not like a, hey, wake up at 5 a.m, David Goggins kind of guy, so like I'll come back from the doors, spend an hour, 2 hours with the reps, anybody that has questions, just like those guys are giving me their summer. So I'm going to give them a couple hours every night kind of deal, even though that's the last thing you want to do after knocking doors.
It's a long day.
Yeah, exactly. And I like while I'm doing that, I try usually making a meal, whatever it is, like nothing gourmet, some chicken rice, whatever. Okay. But just making sure that I'm like eating right, because obviously I need that energy for the doors.
Yeah.
I think a lot of like beginner reps don't really pay attention to that enough. But yeah, then I think after I've spent an hour, 2 hours with the reps, it's like shower and then just decompressing. So I'll spend like an hour reading a book or playing a game on my phone or whatever, just unwind, whatever that looks like to you, right? Like
that's important.
Everybody's got their own little way of doing that, just knowing yourself with that. And then after that, I usually try like cutting out the area and planning for the next day, the correlations and all that stuff, our meetings. And then, I get some sleep. And then usually I'm up by like 9 or 10. We start correlation at 12.
Okay.
Get a good breakfast, make sure that I'm eating, pack a lunch. As little time as I can take away from the doors, the better. So if I could just eat something while I'm on my way to area, pack a couple protein bars, whatever, and then roll out, do the training. So early morning training if guys are struggling with the sales, and then team trainings, and then just roll out to the doors. My sales reps know, like, when I'm on the doors, I'm not, it's not like, hey, call Breton and complain about whatever, or all the sales reps, that's how it is, right? And so, you can text me, but if you need something and it's urgent, like, I'll answer my phone calls. But other than that, like, I make my money the same way everybody else does. So I'm on the doors and just grinding, so there's no secret.
How do you avoid burnout? Or do you embrace it, or what?
Yeah. I don't think you can avoid burnout per se. I think just like your goals just have to be so like, the year that I hit I hit like 530 accounts or whatever, $250,000 revenue. It's like, I was just so burnt out, and it's not like anything, the next year and the year before that, like the Golden Door Award year and the year before it, it's like, I'd say I was equally burnt out, but I'd say my goals were just a lot more serious, or a lot more like I was more dedicated to my goals than like maybe the burnout was. And so I think you just have to push through it, and it sucks, but it is what it is, you just keep pushing.
Yeah. I agree with that. I personally don't use the word burnout. It's like the B word. It's like the second B word for me.
Yeah.
And
they're correlated with each other.
Yeah. If you talk about burnout, you are a little bitch. So
there you go.
So burnout is, what you think about, you start manifesting, believing in. So whether it's positive 100%. Or negative. So I train our people, like, we don't talk about burnout. Yeah. I love what you're talking about. Like, hey, like, you're going to have resistance, burnout, whatever you want to call it, resistance. Yeah. And struggles. They're inevitable. And so rather than trying to avoid it, it's impossible. Like anxiety before knocking, it's impossible. You're going to have it. Yeah.
Happens to everybody, even guys I've knocked for 10 years,
Yeah. You roll with the punches, you go, you hit it. And what you're saying, and I agree with, is your goals and your vision for what you're doing has to be big enough where it's going to push you through.
Yeah, exactly. Like, to me, like, I really look at like getting a Golden Door Award as like if you were running a marathon. Mm-hmm. I've never ran a marathon, but I imagine it's like the way I've always envisioned like running. It's like, if I'm going to set out to do a 3 mile, a 5 mile, 26 mile, whatever it is, it's like the faster I get it done, like the sooner I get to be done with running or whatever. And so for me, it's the same thing. Like, if I'm like, hey, I'm going to go hit a Golden Door Award, that's a very specific number. Yeah. And so it's like the faster I get this done, the faster I get to go home and do whatever else I'm trying to do. And so, I can sit here and complain about it and feel sorry for myself, and I can just prolong how long I have to keep going through the pain. Yeah. Or I can just go get it done. And so it. Yeah. And I feel less guilty that way too, right? Like, I think a lot of times you'll get, more burnt out or more resistance from feeling guilty because you know what you're supposed to do, but you're not doing it. And so, I think it just goes full circle. Like, it's just easier if you just go and do it.
I love that.
So,
you're going into that Golden Door year. Did you have anything else motivating you? Like, did you have a chip on your shoulder? Was there anything that you wanted to prove to somebody? Was that the big push for you? Was like, hey, that identity based goal? Because that's huge. Like, having something that is not just, hey, I want to make X amount of revenue. Yeah. Because you're already making really good money before.
Yeah, 100%.
So, like, you don't need an extra $150,000, $200,000, or let alone another, $500,000 or $1 million. Yeah. What was there anything else motivating or pushing you?
I'm a firm believer in like creating chips in your shoulder, right? Like, I think, I think like just having done the industry for so long, it's like you said, like another 100, 200K. It's like, if somebody's handing it out, like, sure. But it's not like I'm like needing to beg on the side of the road for it. Like, I think like you always have to find something that's going to push you to do more. Right. And so I think like every single year I've kind of reevaluated like why I'm doing this still. Yeah. And like, I don't think either of us are at retirement money, right? So we still have to keep grinding away. But I'm a firm believer in like finding new chips on my shoulder, whether it be, internal or external, right? Like I could have done better last year. I could have not gone home. I could have finished the 600 accounts. And like, it's tough because on the flip side of it all, like, if I come home with, you kind of struggle with the inner demons or whatever. It's like, you could sit there and it's like, hey, I could go home at 500,000 revenue, and the difference between 500,000 and 550, or now 600 and 650. It's like it's not that much of a difference in commissions.
Yeah.
But I just think of like, how upset would I be with myself if I didn't go and finish that, right? Like, and it's funny because it's like, you and I can have this conversation. I can tell you, hey, I'm going to go hit this Golden Door Award. It's like, who are you to like talk trash on me if I don't hit that? Like my bank account's still getting filled up from it.
Yeah.
But the guys that are like, you have to hold yourself accountable to somebody. And so, I think the Golden Door, it's like an inner circle. Like you and I both know what each other have gone through, even in different industries, right? Like, and so it's like, like the difference between a Golden Door Award and, 90% of a Golden Door Award is night and day difference, right? And so I think that's a big thing, is like holding yourself accountable to something greater,
Yeah. Well, what I love about that too, man, just to expound on that, is when you set a target for yourself, even if it's not Golden Door, but you set a target and you fall short, even like, let's say your target's $250,000.
Yeah.
And you fall short, you make $200,000.
Yeah.
Most guys can say, oh dude, that you freaking crushed.
Yeah, exactly.
What I say is, hey, look, that's positive momentum from the last year. But if you told yourself you're going to do something and you fall short, that's an issue, because there's an internal dialogue that you're not going to believe yourself when you go set a target to go run a marathon, or
for sure,
to go find a awesome partner in your life, whatever it is, whatever goal it is. If you achieve it and you say you're going to do it, then you follow up and do it. There's a massive level of confidence that builds with that.
Definitely.
That also adds to anything in your life, Yeah. And so I think it's big that guys and gals, whatever they set the target, that they hit it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's easy to steer away from the course, right? Like it's easy to, I had this situation happen at home, or I had this situation, there's always going to be resistance, like true resistance, right? And like a lot of it's very real. Like you could have a family member pass, or, and like, luckily that wasn't the case for me when I was going through my, my little journey with the Golden Door, but like, but it does happen. Right. And there's a lot of things that happen while you're doing this, and you have to stay committed.
Dude, what I've learned is like, I see guys who don't perform well, guys and gals that don't perform well, and those who do, their language about what's going on in their life is very different.
Yeah. The dialogue
in their head is like, it's happening. The people who don't achieve their goals, it's happening to me. Like, woe is me. This sucks. Yeah. The people who are crushing, like absolutely dominating, they still have struggles. They're not free of burdens and hardship. Yeah. They just perceive it differently and say, this is happening for me. This is going to make a better story.
Yeah. 100%. And I think it's just like, it all comes down to the mindset of it all, right?
Yeah. It's perspective.
Yeah.
With sales, we're really good at having a good perspective on like, glass half full and positivity.
Yeah.
But then there's an internal dialogue too. Like, hey, what are we telling ourselves and what do we actually believe? So.
Oh yeah. And I feel like I have like a terrible inner dialogue, right? Like, I'm so hard on myself. It's like, if, I break it down, hey, if I have to hit, 1,000 accounts or 650, 550,000, I'd like to be home by this time. This is when all my sales reps are leaving. I'd love to be home by this time. It's like, and then you just break it down. It's just a mathematical equation. It's like, I have to hit X amount of revenue or X amount of accounts every single day. It's like, if I fall short of that on any of these days, like I'm so hard on myself. And I think that's like the flip side, right? Like of hitting these huge goals is like, you do have to manage that dialogue a little bit better and like be constantly uplifting yourself too. And I think it's a dynamic for sure.
Well, dude, tell me what you think about this. I've noticed this internal dialogue with myself. Like if I set a big target, let's say I have 100 days to achieve $1 million, right?
Yeah.
And in sales, I know it's a lot, but let's just follow me for the number's sake. So if you do the math, 100 days, we've divided by $1 million. We've got, what is that? $10,000 a day.
Yeah.
Right. And so what I see happen is people will go out with a target of like, hey, we're going to make $10,000 a day. And, or let's make it easier. Sorry, rewind. Okay. Let's say $100,000 target in 100 days. More applicable to most people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's $1,000 a day.
Yeah.
Right. What I see happen is some guys will hit 1,000, 1,500 and be on track, but then they fall and they hit 600 or 500 or 0. and it's, oh crap, like this is, I'm derailed. I'm going to fall short. I'm going to rut. And then they stay there.
Yeah. They give up on it. The roller coaster.
Yeah. And so this is why I'm so big on the process, not the prize. If you can detach yourself and divorce yourself from the result and focus on what the process is to make 1,000 on average, I need to talk to X amount of people. Like if crap hits the fan, you know, I need to talk to X amount of people, knock X amount of doors, make X amount of calls, and I'll get X result. Yeah. And when you can laser focus on that process and you're not married to the results, like that includes having days where you make $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 or more.
Yeah, of course.
It's like, cool. Good for me.
The average needs to be there though.
Like tomorrow's reset, go. And I think when you can stay like grounded and centered on that, like you're not getting too high with the big days, not too low on the low days, you're focused on the result or the process, not the result. Yeah. You're hard to stop. You're hard to, I think people get derailed is with their mindset on these expectations, and they get high on the highs and the lows, they stay low. Yeah.
No, I mean, I think you're 100% right with that. I think it's very easy to, you know, beat yourself up, and you know, like I think the wins, they're very short lived. It's like you hit that 3,000, 4,000 day. It's like, that's great for that day. Yeah. Right. But like if you have a 0 day, I think like a lot of people let that linger and fester over 3-4 days or whatever. And then, you know, it just kind of snowballs into that negativity. And I think like, you know, like if you're going to be hitting huge results, you have to be able to wash away the wins and the losses. Agreed. You know, don't let the highs get too high or the lows get too low. Yeah. So
what's your process like when you do get there? Like we've all been there, feeling anxiety. You're like we've had an off day, off week, whatever it is. Like, how do you reset?
For me, because you know, like if I'm going to hit that golden door award, it's like, it's all just based off of averages, right? Mm-hmm. Like, and I try to, you know, like I try to base off of averages, right? Because like you said, like, you know, it is very easy to get on the high and the low. So it's like, I just recalculate, right? It's like, hey, if I'm trying to get, you know, for me, it was like, hey, I want to be done by August 31st, right? All my sales reps are gone home, whatever, they got college, you know, and for me, I was like, hey, like if I have to knock Christmas Eve, like that's what I'm willing to do, right? Like there's a sacrifice that, you know, kind of plays into it all. But for me, it's like if I miss my goal by, you know, 1,000 revenue, I think it was like I had to hit like 4,500 revenue every day or whatever for the amount of time and everything else. You know, if I fall short 1,000 revenue, it's like, okay, well, I can just recalculate the whole thing. It's like, hey, if I'm going home by August 31st, it's like, well, that adds a couple, you know, $50 or $100 or whatever it is to every single day. And that allows me to reset. It's like, hey, I got to wash that away. Nice. Right. But I think like, I mean, like, obviously you can't be okay with that. It's like, hey, you know what? Like, it's not a big deal. Like, I'll just rinse and repeat tomorrow, you know, and you just constantly in that cycle. But I think you do have to give yourself a little bit of grace as well. And, you know, maybe, you know, August 31st isn't reasonable at that point. Maybe it's September, you know, mid-September, end September or whatever it is. It's like, but I think really you have to be able to be honest with yourself and say, hey, you know what, am I just being a pansy about this? And like, am I just, or like, hey, is this like actually like, are there real things going on, you know? Yeah. And I think like a lot of times people are very easy to play the victim mentality and like, hey, you know what, this sucks. Yeah. So,
you know, what's interesting is when I was selling pest control, I did 900 accounts my rookie year, but I was selling 1 in 5. 1 in 5 is what I was selling at. And in my second year, I did 600 accounts in about 8 weeks. Sure. And the difference in my mindset was I had days like a lot more consistent over 15 accounts. Yeah. And for me, it was purely giving myself a buffer on the day, on the week, on the month. It's
what do you mean by that?
Yeah. So for example, like let's say I sell 1 in 5, right? Yeah. So if I want to sell, let's say 20 accounts, I'd have to talk to 20 times 5. I'd have to talk to 100 people. Sure. So obviously that's going to be pushing it for me. What would happen was as I went throughout the day, the ratio dropped because of momentum. Yeah. I don't know if you've seen the same thing.
100%. I call it flow state.
Flow state. I like that. Yeah. Yeah. So you start catching fire, you get in the flow state. Yeah. And, but what I recognized too was, hey, if I set my numbers on like, hey, I'm a 1 in 5 type of guy. Yeah. It created some problems because sometimes you roll that dice, you could like, let's say you had a 5-sided dice. Yeah. And you were trying to hit 1 and that's your sale. You could roll a dice 10 times and you're not going to hit. Yeah. That could happen. It's not because the dice is flawed. It's just a game. Yeah. Just
mathematically.
Yeah. And so I set buffers in the sense of, hey, I'm going to base my numbers on 1 in 7, 1 in 8. times that by the goal. Let's say it's 10 sales.
Yeah.
So 1 in 7,
70 to
70 to 80 decision makers.
Yeah.
So then now I have a process, and then I time block on the day, input, focus, go. What happens is the opposite. I start crushing. And so I get like, but sometimes, I get 1 in 15, and I notice myself getting like pissed off. It's so
it's
bad.
A thing. 100%.
And so I started like adjusting every single day, where I would literally, like, my first sale, 1 in 20, 1 in 15, third one, 1 in 12, 1 in 10. And I followed that process.
Just scale it a little bit.
Yeah. So I was always ahead. I was always winning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I think it probably helped keep your mentality really strong.
It did. It did. Yeah. I had one day where I got hard on myself, and I had no sales by 6. I was so pissed off.
Yeah.
That was my first year. And that's when I learned, I'm like, okay, I've got to change something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because even no matter how good you and I are at selling anybody, you can't force people to buy.
100%. Yeah.
And so
can't take it away from them.
This is why I can't stand about Cardone, Andy Elliott, and some other people. It's just like, sell, close. You're a master freaking close.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, chill.
Yeah.
Like, Jeremy Miner's approach much better.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, I think as a general rule of thumb, right? Like, I think, as the 1%, it's like, like you have to be like so in tune with everything, and you have to be so deliberate. But I think general population, I think a lot of that advice works.
Oh yeah.
Just like get out there and just knock the doors.
Yeah. Just
but you weren't worried about, am I knocking the doors? It was, hey, are the doors answering? Exactly. Or and I think like,
am I getting people to tell me no?
Yeah. And I think it's cool that you've broken it down so much, where it's like, hey, I know the first one's probably going to take 20 doors. The next one's probably going to take 15. The next time it's 12. It's like, it's not like a rookie can do that. Like, never knocked a door in their life, right? Yeah. For you, it was your rookie year, but you probably took, even the first month might have taken you a while to like collect enough data points where you can kind of develop that system.
I agree with you. Here's what I'd say is that you can, like, success leaves clues. And so every company, every industry has some like clues you can look at. And so you can say, hey, look, the average guy coming in is going to sell 1 in 30.
Yeah.
So we now have a system built on that, and then scale them to 1 in 25, 1 in 20, 1 in 15. So to some extent you can.
Yeah.
And what I've noticed with guys are like, oh, hey dude, you did so many your first year. I'm gonna try to do 500. Like, I would actually cheer them on, say, let's go, let's do it. And what would happen? Tell me what you think about this, Brent. They would set their target at 500, be undertrained for it.
Yeah.
Because they look at me, they're like, Nick's a chump. Like, if he did this, I can definitely do 500.
Yeah.
I don't blame him.
Yeah.
And they go into it and they're like, oh crap. Like, shoot, I did like 3 yesterday. I need to do 5 a day. And then they start derailing. And I saw guys that could have done 3, 4, 500 do 100, 150, 200.
100%. And I think a lot of that comes to like how you value yourself, right? Like when you go and hit that 3-day, you're like, maybe I am a 3-day rep, right? And then it's like, and then because like it goes back to exactly what I was doing, right? Like 4-day rep, 6-day rep. It's like, I think it's very easy to do like go backwards on it too, right? Where it's like, hey, I'm a 3 count day rep. Maybe I'm only a 2-day rep because the 3-day was a lucky day. Then you kind of work your way down instead. And I think like comparison's the thief of joy too, right? Like, you're going to sell different types of customers than myself, right? Like, and you hear the term laydowns in the industry, which I hate that term because like a laydown for you and I might be, a rookie's like best sale ever. Right. And so like, but I think like, I think it all just depends on like, where you're comparing yourself to, right? Like they see you, they've already built you up to be a chump. And then they're like, hey, like if Nick's a chump and he did 900 and I'm trying to do 500 and I only did 3, it's like, well, what am I then? Exactly. Yeah. And so I think like just kind of keep in perspective, it's like you and I are going to sell a little bit different. And, so I think that's important to keep in mind.
Dude, so much to go of like success and it goes back to your self-confidence and self-worth and like what you believe you're capable of. Yeah. And when you get married to the prize, like when you get married to the result, I mean, you're setting yourself up for failure. And rather than saying, hey, I'm a 1 in 3 kind of guy, that these reps end up getting themselves in the trap with, it's like, even if you were hitting 5 or 6 a day, you still shouldn't be saying I'm a 1 in 6 kind of guy. It's like, I put in X amount of doors kind of person. I put in X amount of no's every day kind of person. And I'm obsessed on improving because that individual, dude, it lights out. It doesn't matter. Like you and I didn't come out of mom's womb. Like having our gifts to sell. Like you don't learn.
My first summer, I didn't make a single penny selling solar.
There you go.
So I mean, it's definitely a learned skill set.
So when I hear people talk about like dude, like you just have the gift of gab. You're just gifted. It's like,
Mhm.
whoa. Them saying that about someone else
Yeah.
is casting a massive limiting belief on themselves.
Yeah.
And so I call that out. What we say, if we put others on a pedestal, you're putting yourself down.
Yeah.
And what guys like you and I do the opposite. We look at the guys up, like crushing it and say, it's nothing special about you, bro.
Yeah.
But we also don't get naive to say, I'm attached to the results.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's no way for you to know like what work I've put into it and vice
behind the
versa,
scenes.
right? Like
that's where the magic happens, is in
Yeah.
the dark room, like when nobody's watching. What is that guy doing?
For
How are
sure.
they working? How are they training? And so to look at just the highlight reels and be like, oh yeah, I can do this.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know what made that person.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and even the mentality is, there's similarities, but there's also differences. Like, you've talked a lot about how many doors can I knock every single day. You're like, hey, if I'm going to, sell 20 accounts and I'm 1 in 5, then, I got to knock 100 doors. Like for me, I used to have like a bad relation with like how many doors I'm going to knock. And so I actually don't do the like, hey, I'm going to knock 100 doors or whatever.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, how fast can I get from each door to each door?
So good.
And so I just don't even like, it's, it's not like hey, like I've already knocked 50 doors. I'm ahead of schedule. I can slow down. Or, hey, you know what? Now I'm going to get more. I'm going to get, 21 sales because I'm going to be able to knock 105 doors today or whatever.
Yeah.
For me now, it's like, how fast can I get from each door to door? It's like, I'm going to give my everything on each door.
There you go.
So if the customer comes out, they're yelling, screaming or whatever, hey, that's not a big deal. Have a good one, whatever, move on to the next door. I'm not going to convince them to buy anyway.
Yeah.
But then it's like, if I get that person that's willing to chat, it's like, I'm going to give 100% on that. I'm going to try closing it as quick as I can.
Yeah.
Because obviously I do understand time is money. And, if you're hitting high volumes of sales, you can't spend an hour with the customer. I think it's very easy to get in that trap.
Yep.
I'm
big on that.
But yeah, like, how fast can I get from each door to door? It's like segues are a big thing in the industry, or, whatever it is. It's like, let's just move on at every single door as possible, because I know it's like, for you, it's like, hey, if I can do 1 in 5, that's a 20% chance of closing. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, well, just the more, like, the faster I get to each door, that I can't make any sales on the sidewalk. You know what I mean? Like, it's all on the doors only. So,
well, the beauty
those
of
are big things for me.
Like minor time, taking notes on prospects, driving to area, planning out where you're going to go, taking notes on like your best prospects, or trying to say that's minor time.
For sure.
Major time is how much time you're spending in front of decision makers.
Yeah.
That's it.
100%.
So when you realize that's the game, it's like, you look at your calendar, most sales reps spend less than 30%. Some of them it's less than 20. Dude.
Oh, I believe it.
You realize that's where 90% of your revenue is coming from. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
20% of your time.
Yeah. And I, like, for me, I trail reps or whatever. I've coached plenty of reps at this point, and it's like, you look at how much time is in between each pin or whatever. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, so that minor time can be stretched out too. And I think like, yeah, like you said, just try to get as much major time as you can in front of decision makers.
Yeah. I have the same mentality. I go out thinking like, okay, let's go. Cause it's intimidating for anybody to go like, look at an 8-10 hour day. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, I got to go get like 60 decision makers or 50 or whatever it is. Yeah. 100 doors, 200 doors, whatever they do. It's intimidating. Yeah. But what you can do is go get one and go get everything and then go get another. When you start doing it like one at a time. Yeah. It's like, it's not too bad.
No, definitely doesn't. Yeah. It's not bad at all.
And then talk about the anxiety. I had somebody asking me about like, hey dude, like I'm loving your training. I'm like, I feel like it's going to make me like lose this anxiety that I'm having about sound. I'm like, bro, let me just help you right now. That's never
if that's the reason you're taking the course, it's probably not the move, right? So, no, the anxiety is definitely still there.
You channel it and you deal with it. Like, this is why I'm not a big, like, I have no judgment to people doing like pills for anxiety and depression. Like, but I feel like we all have that to some level, and you have to channel it and you have to like embrace it and you use it. It can work against you or for you, just like anything in life. And so you can use that to get you to go talk to people faster.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I think it only holds so much power. It's the power that you give it. Right. Yeah. And so if you just sit there and you feel sorry for yourself, and like, I mean, I've struggled with depression since I was a junior in high school. Right. Like, so it's tough because like people that don't have depression or haven't dealt with anxiety, it just doesn't sound like it's a real thing. Not that that's what you were saying or anything, but just like,
that's amazing. Yeah.
It's cool. Yeah. I think people need to understand that it's a very real thing.
It is.
And I think like you have to find stuff that like makes you feel good, because depression naturally drops your emotional level very low, I feel like. And so I'm a very big advocate on like finding stuff you love doing. I love playing volleyball. I love playing pickleball. Like, you know, like I love being active. And so for me, that those endorphin releases, it's like, I think you have to find them. Right. Yeah. And so, and it's tough because depression, you just don't want to do anything. And so
you get stuck in that.
Force yourself to go and do it, you know?
I love that, man. Tony Robbins teaches about the importance of like little physical movements, like pounding your chest, like getting your blood flowing, doing jumping jacks or doing like burpees, whatever.
Yeah.
Just something to get the blood flowing, you know?
For sure.
And when I learned that principle, I was like, shoot, I need to get off my Segway every now and then and go move, you know, the natural endorphins. So
yeah, no, that's cool.
Yeah, that's amazing, dude, that you've had your mentality going through hard stuff like that. And you mentioned some personal stuff to me too. Like we've both been through hard things and like achieving that, like people look at some of the success sometimes like, oh, of course, well, look at him. He's a good looking dude. Like he's just had it handed to him, you know, like, of course he's so good. Of course he's made that. But when they hear the story, like that's amazing, like that you've gone through depression and you've achieved this in this industry.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Like the industry that will break down like 95% of people to their knees.
Yeah. And I think anybody that says they haven't to an extent is like, I think they're lying to themselves. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I may think like you're given the hand of cards that you're given, and, you know, everybody goes through their hard things. And I'm not saying mine's been any harder or less hard, you know, like I don't think it's a term of relativity, right? Like I think everybody's given tough hands, and it's just what you do with that tough hand that really matters.
Dude, so gold.
Yeah.
Well, dude, thank you for coming on, Brent. Seriously.
Yeah,
it's been a
thanks
pleasure. The audience is literally lucky to be able to listen to this. So
no, I appreciate it.
Anything else you want to add before we close, or any last tips or thoughts?
Just work hard.
Where can they find you on social media?
I think my Instagram's Breton_Bess_. Okay. I don't know, something along those lines. Okay. There's not a whole lot of Bretons out there. So
BESS, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Love it. Well, guys, go give him a follow if you haven't already. Breton, thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
Love it.
Appreciate it. Pleasure. Thanks.